The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at first criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Shooby-dooby-dooby, hey, 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 shooby-dooby-dooby-doo, shooby-dooby-dooby-doo. Hello, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. Whoops, Shannon's already on it. We got Amy's already on it. I appreciate those ones. I know y'all can hear me. And Jay Avion, I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you for becoming a new member. I do greatly appreciate that. I hope that everybody's doing lovely. Everybody's doing well. Miss Emily, hello. So good to talk to you today. I hope you have had a good afternoon since I talked to you. Indeed, it is very good to see you. Tux, it is very good to see you as well. And I think I saw Lauren's name in there as well. Lauren, I hope you are doing well. I hope everybody is doing well. So y'all, we are going to be circling back around the campfire, back on the sofa to talk, pardon me, to talk about, hey, Audra, how are you doing? I didn't see you in there. Hey, how's it going? And hey, Sandy. Hey, Culinary. So good seeing all these familiar. RJB, what's up? So we're going to continue down the rabbit hole of Erin Patterson. Shout out to Down Under if you're in here for sending me all the links that you're sending me. I greatly appreciate it. And we're going to keep going down the rabbit hole of it. So today we're going to be looking at, I've waited to read this. Okay, this is a couple of days old at this point. I have waited to read this because this is Ian, the survivor, takes a stand, right? I mean, come on, okay, it's going to be major. So I was like, I'm just going to not even look at this until I talk to y'all. I'm trying to think if we have any homework stuff to do or talk about. I don't think so. Please hold while I sip it from the cup. I recorded like a week 1 overview of this today, like kind of just a brief, like all through the days and whatnot. So I'll be out in a couple of days. Tomorrow's video is on the Sarah Boone sidebar transcript things that they put out on My Orange Clerk. So that'll be out in the morning. And then I'll have a Stephen Stearns video. What is today? Wednesday or Friday. So yeah. So that's kind of it. But we're just here on the sofa. Luke's right here. Bo's right here. We're all chilled out. Oh, hey, Down Under. There you are. How's it going? So yeah, that's it. I hope everybody's been doing good. Yeah, so Stefan got pushed back. Yeah. And the judge isn't going to, really, from what I understand so far, not going to say anything until June, or like sometime in June. Now, another phone call was released. I'm going to go over. I listened to the phone calls on Phone Calls from Prison, the channel, so be sure and sub to them. They're gracious enough to let me use them to like make reaction videos too and stuff. So I'm going to go listen to it on there and then do probably like, I'm sure I'll have something to say about that, right? I mean, my gosh, come on. So yeah, we'll see. And that's it. Tomorrow, so let me say this. Like tonight, we were going to originally go do Melanie Gibb, with the Lori Daybell case. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. We've been doing the Revisiting Evil on Thursdays. If more like hot tea keeps coming from this case, we're going to kind of just keep doing this for the live chats, but we'll get the Melanie Gibb and like following back up on the Lori Daybell stuff in preparation for the trial that is on the way. Brandon Boudreaux, Lori Daybell and all that. So there's that. Now what I'm going to do is, there we go. Where'd we go? I am going to pull this document up over here. I'm going to shoot all over the place. And then I'm going to read it. Doop. Now, I am reading this from 7 News. Now, this was May 7th, and this is by Tita Smith. Okay, and let me get to the bottom. Let's start from the bottom. Please hold. The puppies need me. Shooby. None of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the crunch binge. I mean, I am a crunch binge. My goodness gracious. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Hey, Lauren. Yeah, Stephen Stearns. Hey, Diva. Yeah, Stephen Stearns is not. He's not going to have a real good time. Not at all. Doop. Doop. How about that? I know, right? My body is rejecting. It's my favorite part, too. My body kind of stays in a constant state of rejecting, too. What does that translate to? I basically just fall asleep all day long. Let me see what this says. I'm just here for the cringe bench. Hey. Okay. Let's start reading that. Okay. Where are we at? I'm already rejecting that. Yeah, I am very comfortable. It's sad that the 7 o'clock. Well, I haven't taken my nap today, and I've been like kind of going all day long. I went on a nice little walk in the woods. It's beautiful weather here. It's sad that 7 o'clock is late for me at this point, but honestly, what are we gonna do? Okay, where did the article go? Here it goes. Okay, so this is again for people just joining. We are going over Erin Patterson court. Okay, and they did that. And so we're going to be going over this day where Ian Wilkinson, the survivor, took the stand. So the person just kind of goes over this stuff, and I'll say, like the headline for this I'm about to read is receipt of $229 food dehydrator shown to court. Now, I'll kind of recap something as we go. Remember the food dehydrator, she lied about it. She threw it away. They went and found it. They found evidence of the death cap mushrooms in the food dehydrator. Now, just also, I forgot to even say, this is Erin Patterson. This is in Australia. She is accused of killing 3 family members and almost killing 1 with death cap mushrooms, death by beef Wellington. And charges were dropped against her in attempted murder of her estranged husband. However, my personal opinion, is that she absolutely has tried to kill him multiple times. And I don't know why they dropped him. I'm not 100% sure, but they did. So there's that. Now let's keep going. So the receipt shown. The court has been shown and I'm just reading from this article right here. So the court has been shown a tax invoice that shows Patterson purchased the $230 Sunbeam Food Lab electronic food dehydrator from his store. This is Darren Fox. Fox told the court in late 2023 that he was approached by an employee who believed they had sold a dehydrator to Patterson. He said they launched an investigation and found the receipt. She was punching air over in that little jury box thing. She said, no. She was punching air. It's like a thing about how much stuff gets lost. It's like of all things they were able to put their damn hands on, she's probably saying, was this random receipt for a food dehydrator. Oh, she wasn't happy about that. No, sir. No, ma'am. Not happy about that one. That would literally be my luck. I can lose every possible thing, but if I did something like that, 100% they would like search out. Like, we found this receipt from 1922, a handwritten receipt that just happens to still be intact and ties the whole case together. You know what I'm saying? That's 100% my luck. She's like, I wish that bloody disappearing ink worked better. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, the title of this is Friendly, Amicable Ian Wilkinson says Patterson seemed like a normal person. Ian Wilkinson has told the court he met Patterson when she began a relationship with his nephew Simon. I would say our relationship was friendly, amicable. It didn't have much depth, he said. We were more like acquaintances. We didn't see a great deal of each other. Ian, who has been a pastor for more than 20 years, said he would have casual conversations with Patterson when she attended church. Asked how he would describe his late wife's relationship with Patterson, he said very similar. Heather would have had more conversations with her than me, but we wouldn't have described the relationship as close. She seemed like a normal person to me, Ian said, describing Patterson. When we met, things were friendly. We never had arguments or disputes. She seemed like an ordinary person. You know, can we just take a moment to let this sink in? Tried to kill the pastor amongst everything else. I forgot he was a pastor. I mean, come on. Lightning has struck, okay? Trust she's good. I mean, literally, y'all. I can't roll my eyes hard enough at this. And Kathy says my little toe has cancer. I know, right? I'm just like, oh, I almost had to cancel the laugh chat. I had some forearm cancer going on today. Really acting up. Okay, where we go? Here we are. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Okay, next section. We were excited. Ian Wilkinson recalls lunch invitation. Ian Wilkinson has told the court Erin Patterson extended an invitation to the July 2023 lunch while they were at church. He said Patterson gave the invitation to Heather, who then passed the information on to him. It was relatively close to the lunch, the week or two before, he said. Heather came through. I was still in the main body of the church. She came in from the hall and said we had been invited to Erin's home for a meal. Ian said Heather was fairly excited about the lunch and said something along the lines of, "That's good news." He added that he was very happy to be invited, and it seemed like their relationship with Erin was going to improve. There was no reason given for the lunch, and I remember talking to Heather, wondering why suddenly for the invitation, Ian said. We were very happy to accept. I think Heather had some conversations with Don and Gail, and we also became aware that they had been invited and that Simon, too, had been invited. You know, she strikes me as a type person, like, work with me on this. You know how, like, say if somebody was like the cringe binge person at some situation and they're like, hey, let's go do blank. And your morbid curiosity was like, they invited us to their house. Normally I wouldn't go, but my petty nosy side is going to kill me if I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Erin Patterson is like 100% that person. Like, please invited us to their house for lunch. Absolutely. We're going to be there. Bells on our toes, notepads and pen ready to take notes and judge. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm being dramatic, but I mean, let's just be real here, okay? I mean, come on now. Okay, let's come back over here. We're excited. Okay, there we are. So, Heather Wilkinson's diary shown to court. The court has been shown entries inside Heather Wilkinson's diary. For July 29, 2023, Heather noted that they would be attending Patterson's home for lunch. Erin for lunch, 12 p.m., the entry reads. Where'd you go? The day of the lunch. Erin seemed reluctant to show guests the pantry. Ooh, this is getting interesting. Okay. Ian said he had breakfast at home on the morning of July 29th, 2023, but he could not recall what he and his late wife, Heather, ate. I had a typical breakfast meal. Hold on. I had porridge basically every morning for breakfast, so I probably had a big bowl of breakfast. She, Heather, most typically had toast. Ian said they went for a walk in town, picked up a newspaper, then met neighbors at a local cafe for coffee. He said Don and Gail picked them up from their home a little bit after 12 to head to the Pattersons' home together. He said they arrived at the home at approximately 12:30 p.m. When we pulled into Erin's house, Heather said, "Oh, Simon's car's not here," Ian said. Either Don or Gail, I can't remember which one, said Simon would not be coming to the lunch. We got out of the car. Erin came over and took us to the house. It was just Erin and ourselves. We went into the kitchen dining lounge area. It was an open plan room. There were more general conversations, how are yous, etc. Then we started conversing about the house. The conversation in my memory was largely driven by questions from Gail and Heather. Ian said the conversation then turned to Patterson's pantry, a topic Heather was very interested in at the time because she was wanting ideas for setting up her own pantry. So Heather, started walking towards it and started calling out, "Can I look at your pantry?" Ian said. She got about halfway towards it, and then Gail started calling, "Can I look at the pantry?" I noticed Erin was reluctant to let them go to the pantry. I thought maybe it's a mess. That's why she's embarrassed. So I decided not to add to that embarrassment by going over to join Gail and Heather. I stood standing talking to Don. Ian said the group then went outside to check out the garden. After a while outside talking about the garden, we wandered back into the house, Ian said. That was the time that we started moving towards lunch, as in the preparations were being served. Ian said when he entered the kitchen, he saw Patterson mashing the potatoes and plating up the food. Oh my God, it's so creepy. And let me just check in with y'all real quick. Yeah, I wonder what she had in the pantry. I wonder if, it could have been messy like normal, right? But I also immediately, I just envisioned crushed up potato. Oh, thank you, Emily, for gifting memberships. I envision crushed up mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that, where she's like, "Oh, don't mind those. They're just in your food," kind of a thing. But then also could just be messy. I don't know. Anyways, court shown photo of Patterson's kitchen. The court has been shown a photo of Patterson's kitchen and dining room area. The home contained an open kitchen with a bench separating the kitchen and a dining room area where there were chairs and a table. Prior to the meal being served, Ian said Patterson was on the kitchen side of the sink. Gail and Heather were on the other side of the bench, leaning against it. Patterson rejected offer to help serving up lunch, court hears. Ian Wilkinson has told the court that Heather and Gail offered to help Patterson serve up the lunch. The offer was rejected and Erin plated, Ian said. There's potatoes, beans, and beef Wellington. Each person had an individual serve. It was very much like a pastry case, and when we cut into it, there was steak and mushrooms. Oh my God, bless their hearts. Each person had an individual serve. It was completely pastry encased. Ian said there were 4 large gray plates and 1 smaller orangey tan plate. Heather picked up 2 plates and put them on the table. Gail picked up 2 plates and took them to the table. And Erin picked up her plate and took it to the table. Okay, so you see how that went down. So they picked up 2 and then they picked up 2. Then Erin's over here talking about, this is mine, right? So, because I think somewhere maybe the state we might get to this, the state was trying to talk about, well, anyone could have picked up the plates or, almost like they were it just worked out that way. And I'm like, oh, no, I can 100% assure you she made sure that she got that orange plate. She knew what she was doing. Oh, what was going through her mind when they took that food? I wonder if she was like, I'm going to get back at them. I wonder what she was thinking. Oh my God. And they were so, anyway, let's keep going. Okay. Then next section. We should have shared Heather's remark to her husband about beef Wellington. During evidence in chief, During evidence in chief, Ian Wilkinson said all 5 plates had the same components: beef Wellington, beans, and mashed potatoes. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah. I read that in my world as all the plates had the same 5 components. So I was like, beef Wellington, beans, and mashed potatoes. Am I missing something? Where's the other 2? But I misread it. Okay. The 4 guests ate from the large gray plates while Patterson ate from the smaller orange plate. He said he and his wife ate the entire meal. Gail ate all of her vegetables and half of the beef Wellington, and his brother-in-law Don ate his entire meal as well as the remaining half of Gail's serve. Oh, God bless him. Ian said there was a conversation during the lunch about husbands finishing their wives' meals. That is the reason I remember who ate what, because of that little exchange, he said. Heather mentioned we should have shared a beef Wellington because she thought the meal was on the big side for her. Ian said he couldn't say with certainty how much Patterson ate off her plate, but he does not remember there being any discussions about her not eating very much. For dessert, Gail brought a cake and Heather a fruit salad, but Ian said not much of either dish was eaten as they were quite full from lunch. Ian said he only remembers the group drinking glasses of water, and he could not recall whether they used the same plates to eat the desserts. Oh, man. Patterson spoke about tumor scan to lunch guest. Now, this is interesting. After lunch, she said she had cancer, Ian said. So pause there for a second. Because in my mind, I'm like, you fed them the food. Now, I'm already thinking this. Now, knowing what we know now, and we'll get to this, I'm sure. I'm like, well, how soon after did they start getting violently ill? Right? I mean, you hear how much they ate of it. Right. So then in my world, I was always like, what was it like once they cleared their plates? Did she start in on something? So interesting that they clear their plate, like meaning like they eat their food, and that she's sitting here talking about, I've got elbow cancer, and I'm just like, oh, okay. I thought this was going to go differently. But again, we haven't read through it. So here we go. Where did y'all go? Okay, here we go. So she was very concerned because she believed it was life-threatening. She was anxious about telling the kids. In that moment, I thought this is the reason we have been invited to lunch. Ian said Patterson told the group which type of cancer she had at lunch. He said he could not distinctly recall which type she said, but it was something like cervical cancer. That's right. She told everybody she had something different, right? Everyone got a different story about it. Okay, so here we go. She said she had a diagnostic scan that showed a dark spot that was a tumor, he said. Now, remember, she actually did a self-administered cervical cancer thing, and it was negative. The conversation moved quite quickly to the anxiety she expressed earlier about telling the kids. She asked us, what do you think I should do? Don spoke first and said he thought it would be best to be honest with the kids. There was then general conversation, and that is what we all thought. Ian said the conversation came to an end when the group realized that one of Patterson's children and his friend had been dropped home, and the 2 children would be entering the house soon. Again, pause right here before we get to the next section. Here's my thing. I would be scared to death. Which, I mean, I guess if you're willing to do this to somebody, right? Like, whatever. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I would want them out of the house. Like, if I had sat there and just poisoned this whole group of people with this insane amount of whatever, I would have wanted them out of the house. I want to be like, well, let me drop this bomb on them talking about I got cancer. Because in my world, I'm like, well, they're going to start. She knew how sick they were going to get, right? So in my world, I would have been like, I want them out of the house. I don't want, I can't have 4 people falling out in the house as soon as we eat. Unless it was going to get real twisted, right? Like, where she was going to be, like, pulling some Annie Wilkes stuff, talking about, I'm your number 1 fans, like, while they're, like, falling on the floor and stuff like that. But my expectation would be that they would be that violently ill. So that's what throws me out, because she knows enough about it, right? Okay. We thought it was gastro, Ian recalls, vomiting, diarrhea. Please hold. I mean, good Lord, y'all. So listen to this. Ian said he and Heather went to another social engagement after Patterson's lunch before returning home. So, okay, pause there. Then Erin must know that it takes a while for the poison to seep in. So it's not an instant thing. So there's that. Okay, Ian said he stayed up till about 10 p.m. finishing some preparations for church before the pair went to bed a short time later. I don't think either of us had fallen asleep. Heather got up abruptly and went to the laundry, and I could hear her vomiting. I felt all right when Heather initially got up, but it wasn't very long after that I also felt the need to go and vomit. It continued right through the night. We had vomiting and diarrhea. Ian said he and his wife were so ill that they spent the night by the toilets. He said he and Heather were initially hesitant to go to hospital as they both felt it was just gastro, but eventually agreed upon Simon's insistence. Oh, they were just sick as dogs. Oh my God. Man, I feel so bad for them. Oh, this is just terrible. Oh my God. I don't like throwing up. I mean, who does, right? But like that feeling of like that level of sickness. And so it's something like this where it ends up killing you. Like I can't fathom. I cannot fathom. Okay, here we go. Wait, we already read that section. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so then here's this part. Thought it was food poisoning. Doctors initially suspicious of steak fillet. Ian Wilkinson has told the court the staff at Leongatha Hospital initially thought he and his wife had food poisoning. We had a conversation with the doctor on duty. He quizzed us on what we had been eating, he said. My memory was that suspicion was falling on the meat. Ian said he did not recall there being any suspicion at that time about the mushrooms. Even though he and Heather wished to go home, he said they were admitted to the hospital. Ian, said he and his wife were absolutely exhausted and were sick that night as they laid in adjoining beds in the same ward. Oh. He said that the next morning he and Heather were abruptly woken by nurses who rushed them to an urgent care area of the hospital where they spoke to the medic overseeing their case, Dr. Chris Webster. Dr. Webster had communication from Dandenong Hospital indicating suspected mushroom poisoning, Ian recalled. He was very frank. He said it is an extremely serious situation. He said it was a time critical and that we needed to be taken to that hospital. Ian said he was loaded into an ambulance and Heather taken in a second one to the same hospital. He said at that time he was aware Don and Gail were at that hospital, and although he didn't see them, he heard Gail's voice in the pod next to them. The court heard soon after the transfer, Ian was given a charcoal drink, sedated, then slipped into a coma. He was then transported to the Austin Hospital, where he stayed for several weeks receiving treatment. He was eventually discharged into rehab ward at the same hospital September 11th, 2023. Imagine waking up from that and finding out all your friends and wife are dead. And you're the only survivor. Defense suggests guests were... Here's the part I was talking about. Defense suggests guests were free to take any lunch plate. Under cross-examination, defense Colin Mandy SC has put it to Ian that once the plates were on the lunch table, guests were free to sit at any of the spots. Ian agreed and confirmed to Mandy there were no instructions as to which plate should be placed in front of which person. Mandy, once those plates were placed on the table, any of you four guests could have sat at any of those spots. Is that correct? Ian said yes. Mandy said, can I suggest to you that there was no uniform set of plates being used by Erin on that day? Ian says there were 4 plates that were the same. Mandy says, is it possible that there were 2 or 3 plates that were the same and that one was different? And Ian said no. But here's the thing. And again, now obviously I wasn't there. Oh, hey, Samantha, thanks for being a member for 12 months. I hope you're doing well. It's good seeing your name. So here's the thing, like, how like if you're at a dinner situation or some vibe like that, whatever, and like you're picking your places at the table and whatnot, it's almost like this unspoken social cue of who kind of goes where. You see what I'm saying? So it's like technically almost like if you're putting water, like say you're filling waters up, you kind of go put one. It's almost like that's going to be my spot. I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like the way that people pick their places. So if you're going and you're putting a plate, like say you go and you're carrying 2 plates, let's say you're Ian, and you're taking your plate in this plate. It's almost assumed that That's his plate and his wife's plate, or vice versa if she did whatever. Even more so if Ian has a plate and Heather has a plate and they set them down here and then they're kind of milling about talking until the host or whoever is like, well, go on, have a seat. It's like you want to go and sit at where Dom put his plate down. You know what I mean? But none of that's spoken. So it's like I can see where, again, you know, the defense is like, okay, well, I get what they're doing, but there's that. And then at all that, and we know Erin wants that orange plate, right? So you know she's probably like, this is my plate. And so in my world, I'm like this. I'm like, you know, Erin wasn't going to sit there with her body. She was probably like, here's where I'm going to be, because she knows that's the case. So if she has control of this is not poisonous, well, then it doesn't really matter where the rest of the force set. They can trade. You can take your plate and go sit outside for all we care. You have the poison plate. So, you know, and I'm sure that I mean, most people are going to realize this, right? But again, they have to try and just do what they're doing. And who I just said that? Culinary brings up a good point. Culinary says at our family get-togethers, everyone always just sits in the same spot basically every time. And see, Erin could have used this to her advantage because a couple of the people, like, this is like a new situation. Like, this wasn't like the norm. You know what I'm saying? So she could have been like, she was using all of this to her advantage, right? All of this to her advantage. Okay. Okay, we read that. Let's go up to the next one. Defense focuses on cancer diagnosis discussion. Mandy has suggested to Ian that Patterson said she suspected she may have cancer rather than she had been diagnosed with cancer. Ian disagreed, telling the court that Patterson explicitly said she had been diagnosed. It wasn't an impression. She said she had some sort of cancer, Ian said. Her voice was low at that point. I couldn't quite catch which type of cancer. She went on to speak about the scan. She said it was a serious situation, a situation that made her scared for her kids. You know that, like, if she wasn't trying to kill them, because at this point I'm back to she was trying to kill them, but let's pretend that she was just trying to like nurse them back to health or something like that. Can you imagine like the drama she would have gone through? Like, she would have been going to their house. You know, she would have been like pretending like she had chemo and like it was putting around and be like, I'll come and look after you, Ian, but my elbow cancer is flaring up today, but I'll come by and nurse you by the bedside. Heather as well. I mean, she would have milked it for every bit she could have. And I'm talking about remission. I'm talking novel length worthy drama getting dragged out over this. Okay. So then Ian, right? So Ian's evidence. That's it for Ian, right? Okay. So next thing. Officer tasked with transporting patients takes the stand. Hyde told the court Don and Gail said they were suffering from vomiting and diarrhea after attending a party the day before. Hyde said when her colleague asked the couple what they had eaten, Don responded, beef stroganoff. Hyde told the court Don lay down in the ambulance while Gail sat in a seat at the back of the vehicle. Hyde said Don was rolled into the hospital on a stretcher while Gail was able to walk in. Ugh. Imagine how sick they were and having to go in a bumping ambulance. Oh, you just know that put them over the edge. God bless them. Oh my God. I know. I think I'm going to revisit her interviews. There's talking about like her sitting outside her car blubbering. I think I'm going to revisit them because I did like a reaction to them earlier, but I'm thinking I'm going to do a video and like revisit them and knowing what we know now with her like absolute pathological lying, right? So there's that. Anyways, where did the thing go? Okay, here it is. So go up here. Don was considerably sicker, hospital nurse tells court. The court has heard from nurse Lisa Shannon, who worked as the officer, who worked as the after-hours care manager at the Corambora Hospital in July 2023. She said there were 2 beds in the urgent care area when Don and Gail arrived at the hospital. Shannon confirmed the couple told her they were sick after eating a beef Wellington at a lunch the previous day. Gail had informed me they had both taken an anti-nausea medication. This had worked for Gail, but not for Don, she said. Don was considerably sicker and required more of my time. I remained in the urgent care room and couldn't leave because I was busy with both of these patients. Shannon said she gave them cannulas to give them fluids through an IV drip. She did an ECG of their hearts and checked their blood for electrolytes. She said much of her shift was spent helping to take Don and Gail to the bathroom. Shannon said tests performed on Don revealed he was struggling with a metabolic disorder, which would require him to be immediately transferred to a tertiary hospital. She explained it's TERTIARY hospital is one with a big emergency department, many doctors, and the hospital that they're at was basically just have one doctor on call. Shannon said the decision was made to transfer the couple to a bigger hospital. Okay. Next thing, the next title is more indicative of a toxic poison. Doctor sought death cap antidote, court told. The court, what you doing, buddy? What you doing? The court has heard from Beth Morgan, a doctor who saw Don and Gail when they presented at Dandenong Hospital. She said tests conducted on Donald returned abnormal results. With the abnormalities, the emergency department started an IV drip to replenish fluid to see if any of that helped. In cases like these, the first thing I would suspect was gastroenteritis, but it didn't improve. Dr. Morgan told the court Gail initially appeared in better condition than her husband, with her symptoms starting an hour after Dawn's. Dr. Morgan said as the couple's condition continued to rapidly deteriorate, she and other doctors consulted with each other about the possible cause of their illness. Dr. Morgan said one doctor raised the possibility the pair were suffering from death cap mushroom poisoning. There was a discussion about how the symptom onset was late. In food poisoning, we would normally see the onset around 4 hours later, not 12, like in Donald's case. This would be more indicative of a toxic poison syndrome. As medics began to suspect the 4 lunch guests had consumed death cap mushrooms, Dr. Morgan said doctors treating the lunch guest began seeking the antidote. We were advised we didn't have that at Monash Health, but they were going to obtain it from another hospital, she said. Dr. Morgan said when her shift ended at 8 a.m., she handed Don and Gail, who were by then in ICU, over to the care of the general medicine team. She said she received a call from Dr. Chris Webster at 8:30 a.m. that morning as she was driving home. Dr. Morgan told her that Erin Patterson had arrived at the hospital with symptoms of gastro, but had discharged herself against medical advice. Now, you know. Okay, so court wraps up for the day. Why is this up here again? I already read that. Okay, so that's that page. Now let's go to this page. Let me find y'all real quick. So, yeah. So for those just joining, we're reading over the testimony or the updates from court. So we're reading over the testimony, or not the testimony, but the testimony, the updates from the court and whatnot. So, oh yeah, you can see a little Bobo. You want to say hey? Yeah, I'm sleeping. Leave me be. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Let's get you all tucked in. There we go. He's so cute. So, he doesn't like his little foot he's being played with. Did you hear me? I'm rubbing this little feet right now, and he's going. It's okay. I know. Okay. So are we? We're going to jump here. Okay. So the title of this is Heather Wilkinson thought beef Wellington was delicious. It's okay, buddy. There you go. We'll leave your little footsies alone. Okay. He's like, leave me alone, father. The court has heard from Dr. Mark Douglas, who worked as a toxicology registrar at Dandenong Hospital in July 2023. Dr. Douglas's role was to help advise other doctors within the hospital about treatment plans for patients who have been poisoned. Dr. Douglas said he received a call from another doctor at the hospital, Dr. Beth Morgan, in late July 2023, to advise him a patient, Donald Patterson, was severely ill with vomiting and diarrhea. He said he was advised Don's wife, Gail, who had also been transferred to the hospital with less severe symptoms, and that the two other lunch guests, Heather and Ian Wilkinson, had presented at another hospital. Dr. Douglas said the medical teams treating the 4 lunch guests were at that stage still unsure of what was causing the illness. When Gail and Don's symptoms worsened in the following hours, Dr. Douglas said it was decided the couple and the other 2 lunch guests would need to be given an antidote for death cap mushrooms. Ian and Heather Wilkinson were later transferred to Dandenong Hospital, where Dr. Douglas reviewed their health. Dr. Douglas said during his discussions with the couple, both reported they each eaten a full share of beef Wellington at the lunch. I remember Heather said it was a delicious meal, so she finished the whole lot, he said. You know that Erin's like, I'm glad she liked my meal. That's the only part of that Erin probably picked up on. Okay. The next section. Heather raved about beef Wellington to her friends. The court has heard from 2 of Heather and Ian's friends who visited their home on the afternoon after the luncheon. Their written statements were read out by the prosecution. Angela Child. I am the treasurer of the Baptist Church. I have known Don, Gail, and Ian and Heather since 2013. On Saturday, July 29th, 2023, I went to Ian and Heather's house for a pre-arranged meeting. I arrived about 2:53 p.m. I rang Heather and she said they were just passing Cold Creek and they would be there soon. Soon after, I saw a white 4-wheel drive arrive and Ian and Heather got out. Child said they went into the Wilkinson's home where Heather told her she had eaten a beef Wellington at Patterson's place. She described it as delicious and beautiful, the statement continued. She told me it was an eye fillet. She continued to rave about the meal. Neither Ian or Heather were sick while I was there. It's so scary to see how long they went without presenting symptoms. Jennifer McPhee. I am the secretary of the Baptist Church and have known Ian and Heather for over 30 years. I've also known Don and Gail for over 20 years. July 29th, 2023, I went to Ian and Heather's house. I arrived at about 3 p.m. Angela was already there. She told me Ian and Heather were on their way. They turned up within a minute. They arrived in Don and Gail's car. Ian and Heather got out of the car and waved. They looked happy and I waved back. McPhee said Heather was happily talking about the meal the couple had eaten at Patterson's house. She said they had beef stroganoff. The prosecution at this point abruptly added that it was accepted McPhee actually meant beef Wellington. She was playfully teasing Ian about how much he had eaten. When I left, Ian and Heather were happy and not sick in the slightest. Okay, then that next title. No record of cancer for Patterson, health authorities say. Please hold. The court has read a statement from Danielle Romains, the acting director of the Victorian Department of Health. In her statement, Romains said it was mandatory in Victoria for health officials to document cases of cancer. Accordingly, she would expect someone who had been diagnosed with cancer would have a number of reports within the Victorian Department of Health database, Romains said. Romains said a search of the register found no entries under the name Erin Patterson with her date of birth. I mean, surprise, surprise, right? Okay, next thing. Simon's sister fights back tears as she talks about dead parents. Simon's sister, Anna Tarrington, has become emotional while giving evidence. Anna told the court her mother told her about the lunch invitation a few days before the gathering at Patterson's home. Anna said it seemed unusual Heather and Ian had been invited, as they had not been invited to Patterson's place before. About 5 p.m., July 29, 2023, a few hours after the lunch, Anna called her mother to ask how it went. Recalling the conversation, Anna was overcome by emotion. She said they had beef Wellington, she said, fighting back tears, and that it was too much for Mom, so Dad finished hers. Ugh. Anna said her mother also told her that Simon had not attended the lunch, and her parents did not say they were feeling well. And her parents did not say they were feeling unwell. She told the court her brother Simon sent a signal message to her and the other siblings the following day to let them know the parents were ill. He said Mom and Dad were in the hospital, she said. They had been experiencing vomiting and diarrhea since midnight. Simon said Ian and Heather were at the hospital experiencing similar symptoms. I scroll down. He said that Erin was experiencing diarrhea but was soldiering on at home. Anna said Simon later informed her their parents were being transferred to the other hospital. Anna said she rushed to the facility to visit them on Sunday evening, where she found Simon already there in the room with her father, Don. Anna said she took her mother to the bathroom many times that night, and they briefly discussed the reason for the lunch. She said that Erin had wanted to tell them about a medical issue she had, Anna said. Anna said her mother didn't tell her what the medical issue was, and she did not ask. Anna said her parents had lunch with Erin on one earlier occasion earlier in 2023, and they did not fall sick. The court heard Anna and Patterson were both pregnant at the same time, and their children were born about 3 days apart, leading the pair to be referred to as the twins. Anna said she had a close relationship with Patterson during their pregnancies, and Patterson also did a Bible reading at her wedding. Anna confirmed to the court that Patterson and Simon loaned her and her husband about $400,000 to go towards the family home. She said the loan was indexed to inflation, but otherwise no interest was placed on the loan. The court heard Anna's repayments for the loan were made directly to Simon when he and Patterson separated in 2015. Ian and Heather Wilkinson surprised by lunch invite and concerned for Patterson. Dubois said she had known Patterson since she married her cousin Simon in 2007. Okay, that took me a minute to wrap my mind around that statement. She described her and Patterson as acquaintances who would say hi and that's it if they passed each other. Dubois said that she was having lunch at her parents' place when her mother told her she'd been invited to eat at Patterson's home. Allison told the court her mother said Patterson had come up to her and Gail while the two sisters were at church and invited them to her home. And I responded, really? Because it was not something I would imagine, Dubois said. In response to my reaction, she said, yes, we were surprised also. That had never happened before. She then called Simon, and after their discussion, she packed up and rushed to the hospital to see them. While there, Dubois said her parents expressed concerns for Patterson. They asked how Erin was, she said. They talked about their concern that Erin might be going to the hospital as a precaution, as she had eaten the same meal. So they felt she should be there being observed also. I mean, and this is a key element. I mean, to see how nice these people are. They're like concerned, like what's going on with her. All the while she's over here talking about like, oh, I might come in and get checked, but I don't want to stay the night. I mean, my God. Yeah, you could tell. As Susie says the family was already sus on her. Yeah. There was some vibe there. Like there was something going on there where they were like, she invited you over? Okay. What was that like? You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe I'm getting from this. Yeah. Okay. Patterson sought brother-in-law's advice on marriage counseling. The court has heard Patterson sought advice from her brother-in-law on marriage counseling. Matthew Patterson, Simon's younger brother, told the court that he was invited by Patterson to a lunch at her home to discuss her marriage. What a little pattern she has. The court heard she expressed to Matthew at the lunch that she was sad and with how her marriage with Simon was progressing, and she only wanted to move forward if they sought counseling. Under questioning by the defense, Matthew confirmed Patterson asked him for advice on how to encourage his brother to proceed with taking up counseling. Matthew also told the court that Patterson and Simon appeared to be amicable and friendly following their separation, and that his sister-in-law seemed to have a good relationship with his parents. He also confirmed that Patterson and Simon had loaned him and his wife hundreds of thousands of dollars to go towards his home, which he repaid slowly to Patterson when she separated from his brother in 2015. So, yeah, she has this little pattern, and it's interesting where it's almost like she loans these people money, and then thanks, Arizona Kelly, and how are you doing? It's like she loans them money, but then treats them like, well, come over here and listen to my problems. You know what I mean? It's like a very interesting layer of manipulation that she does, you know. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Where did the page go? There it is. Okay. So Patterson seemed to be trying to recall source of mushrooms on phone to relative. Matthew Patterson has told the court that he rang his sister-in-law about 10:22 a.m. on July 30th, 2023, to ask where she bought the mushrooms. At that time, Matthew said he was in hospital with his sick parents. Don and Gail and medical staff treating the couple were trying to determine how the mushrooms had been sourced. During evidence in chief, Matthew explained his parents did not know where the mushrooms came from. So to answer the medic's questions, he offered to ring Patterson on their behalf. I asked her how she was because Simon had mentioned she had been to the hospital, Matthew said. I can't recall what she said, but it was a polite answer. I then asked her where the mushrooms came from. She said that there are fresh mushrooms from Woolies and dried mushrooms from a Chinese shop in the Oakley area of Melbourne. Matthew said the conversation was brief, and when it ended, he passed on the information provided by Patterson to medical staff. During cross-examination, Patterson's defense team put it to Matthew that Patterson seemed trying to recall where she had purchased the mushrooms during their phone conversation. Defense: we know the call was a brief one, lasting 1 minute and 15 seconds. That was a friendly phone call, but you were calling for a purpose. Matthew: yes. Defense: so after a polite greeting, you moved to the purpose of the phone call quickly. Matthew: yes. Defense: and she was trying to recall the answers about the mushrooms to you? Matthew: correct. Okay, that was that. Now here's my thing. This is what blows my mind with this. On the phone for less than a minute. You're calling people. All these people are in the hospital. I mean, I get it would be like, pretend like your food just food poisoned them. It would be awkward, but I personally would almost feel like an obligation to be there, right? Especially at this level. And especially if you're being brought to the hospital. So it's completely sus that it's like, she's kind of like just being on the phone, not like, how are they? What's going on? Oh my gosh, I'm falling all over myself. But I mean, come on. Oh, thank you, Elaine. Get your wee boys a treat for me. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Elaine. I really appreciate that. That's really sweet of you. And when he moved over here, but they both say thank you. So yeah. So I don't know. Let's keep going. Okay. Yeah. Doctor says Patterson gave one-word response to source of the mushrooms. During evidence in chief, Dr. Webster said he was busy attending to the Wilkinsons when he heard the buzzer ring at the urgent care center, signaling someone had arrived at triage. Dr. Webster said he saw a woman waiting at the locked door, and he apologized to her about the wait, explaining he was treating two very ill patients. Dr. Webster said the woman identified herself as Erin Patterson and said she was suffering from gastro. Dr. Webster said he realized during the conversation that she was the chef of the lunch. Dr. Webster said he unlocked the door and brought Patterson into the urgent care clinic, and they had a brief exchange. I said, there is a concern of death cat mushroom poisoning. Where did you get the mushrooms? It was a, it was a single word response, Woolworths. Erin did not ask me any questions. I left when the triage nurse came over to commence the triage documentation process. I mean, that right there, you're not concerned about the guests. How are they? Oh my God, what's going on? Can I see them? None of this is going on. So you know they had to be like, okay, like, do you want to know how they are? You know, what's going on? And I can just see her now standing up at all Annie Wilkes, like, I'm suffering from gastro. Okay, who are you? I'm Erin Patterson. I'm the chef of the lunch. Oh my God, they're in the back. They're, this is really, really bad. Oh my God, where'd you get the Woolworths? Okay. Can I go home now? Sure. You know what I mean? Sure, Erin. Go on home. Okay, let's keep going. Patterson, wait, where are we? Okay. Patterson left hospital after 5 minutes, despite doctors' warning of possible toxic mushroom exposure. After speaking to Patterson in the urgent care clinic, Dr. Christopher Webster told the court he goes back to treating Heather and Ian Wilkinson. He said he later became aware from a nurse that Patterson had left the hospital against advice. I was surprised. I had just informed her she had potentially been exposed to death count mushroom poisoning, he said. I rang her mobile phone 3 times and left 3 voice messages. I was apologetic and informed the voicemail I would have to contact the police for her health and safety and bring her back to the hospital. Dr. Webster said he rang 2 of his bosses when attempts to get in contact with Patterson failed. I explained the situation and said I want to contact the police to get them to bring Erin back, he said. I spoke to them because when you have to consider treating a patient against their will, it becomes a serious situation, and I wanted them to be informed before I did that. After speaking to 2 senior members of the health department, Dr. Webster rang 000. I guess that's like their 911 or something, I don't know. During the phone call, which was played in court, it was revealed Dr. Webster told police Patterson left the hospital after just 5 minutes. So you know that they were like, what? Okay, North, okay, 006 911. Okay. So she comes in, gives a 1-word answer. They tell her this is really sad, and then she leaves and won't answer the phone. I'll tell y'all this much. And this is for here. So this is like up here in North Carolina. This is several years ago. This is a while ago at this point, I guess you should say. In the last decade, let's say. And I can't remember what it was, but it was late at night. And now, when I say late at night, like maybe like 11 midnight. So like, late, right? But not like 2 in the morning. Long story short, cops show up. This is at my mom's house. Cops show up talking about, we need the mother, they're like, we've been trying to get a hold of you. Basically, she had gone to the doctor and the test came back. And I forget what it was that she was low on. It was like calcium or potassium, something like that was like drastically low. Well, for whatever reason, maybe her phone was off that afternoon, even whatever. But basically, once these came in and they couldn't get a hold of her, they called the cops to basically come to the house and say, we have to make sure you're here, you're okay. Like, you have to go to the hospital right now. Like, and once they got there and saw, it was just a matter of like her phone was off and this and the other. So it wasn't like something bad, it was whatever. But yeah, we had to take her in. She had to be hooked up to an IV to whatever this stuff. I can't remember, right? So interesting. So like basically what I'm getting at is when the doctors are to the point of like, yeah, we're calling the cops. Like it's like for real. So for Erin to be sitting here not answering the phone, not doing any of that over death. Imagine you walking. This is like what I keep doing in my mind. In my mind, I keep imagining you go into the hospital talking about, I was just bit by a copperhead, and then being like, oh my God, we're going to admit you. We've got to get started. And then be like, no, I'm good. Can I head out? Well, you don't really want to do that, sir. Okay, but I think I will, okay, bye. And then being like, he's gonna die. He got bit by a copperhead. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. And he just left. Was he even able to drive? So like they had to be like, what is up? Okay, let's keep going. This is like this trial is juicy, y'all. Okay, I mean, I hate to reduce it down to that, but like this is like I've been waiting for these details for like what feels like years. Where to go? Oh, here we go. Okay, Monday, July 31st, Dr. Webster. So this is like the phone call stuff here that I'm going to read. Okay, Dr. Webster. Hello, this is Dr. Webster calling from Leongatha Hospital. I have concerns about a patient who presented here earlier and has left the hospital. I have tried several times to get her on the phone. The phone operator then asked Dr. Webster for Patterson's details, which he provided along with her home address. Operator, mushroom poisoning, you said. Dr. Webster, yes, there are 5 people who ate a meal on Saturday, and 2 of them are in intensive care. Erin presented this morning with symptoms of mushroom poisoning. It was time for the nurse to begin observations, and I was managing other critically ill patients. I had a brief conversation with her about whether mushrooms were obtained. When I was attending to other patients, the nurse advised me that she had left. She was up here for 5 minutes. Pardon me. Next section. CCTV shows medics trying to stop Patterson from leaving the hospital. The court has been shown CCTV footage of medics trying to stop Patterson from leaving Leongatha Hospital. Dr. Veronica Foote says she arrived for a shift around 8 a.m. Monday, July 31st, and she had a handover conversation with Dr. Chris Webster about Ian and Heather Wilkinson's admission into the hospital. She said she then spoke to the director of nursing, Kylie Ashton, who told her Patterson had presented at approximately 8:05 a.m. She, Ashton, reported that she asked Miss Patterson to come into one of the cubicles so she could be assessed, and at that point, Miss Patterson wanted to leave the hospital, so she wasn't able to be assessed at that time. Dr. Foote said Ashton asked her to go speak to Patterson because she didn't want to stay at the hospital. She was on her way out. I talked to Miss Patterson and relayed our concerns for her health and the potential that she could be very unwell, and it was our advice for her to stay and receive treatment, Dr. Foote said. She said she couldn't stay at that time. She had to go home to make arrangements for her animals and her children, and that she would return. I can't recall how long she said she would be gone, but I think she said she would be back within 30 minutes. CCTV footage was then shown to the court showing Dr. Foote stepping in front of Patterson to prevent her from walking out the door. Dressed in a purple jumper, white trousers, sandals, and a face mask with a black backpack on, Patterson stood talking to Foote for a moment. Ashton could then be seen walking over to Patterson and giving her a piece of paper. Dr. Foote told the court the piece of paper was a document which declared that Patterson was choosing to leave the hospital against medical advice. The CCTV then showed Patterson signing the paper before walking out of the facility. Okay, so now in this part, so you see what she was trying to do. She was just trying to get out that door. She was like, I have to go check on the dog, whatever, the animals and whatnot, which could, like, I mean, obviously it kind of makes sense. She had so many other people that could do that. Like, I mean, all she had to do was call Simon. Right now, of course, they might not know this information, but like we know it, obviously Erin did, right? So, and of course the hospital's looking at her like, that's like they're standing in front of you, and you already know, I mean, just from like how fast it can go down. And they're telling you this is what's going to happen to you. These other people have this. This is getting ready. It's on its way to you. You're already presenting, according to Erin. Now, Erin knows she didn't eat the poison. So this is the big difference. That's why she's like, well, I got to run some errands. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. I mean, come on. Okay, here we go. Pardon me. Patterson did not show signs of diarrhea. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Okay, there it is. I was like, why isn't the computer charging? Okay. Patterson did not show signs of diarrhea, but had a high heart rate, doctors say. I bet she did. She didn't show signs of diarrhea, but she was really anxious. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Right? It's like red flag number 3050 with her. Okay. Please. Okay. Yeah, she was feeling it now. She was like, y'all got any lisinopril up in here? I'm good on the death cap antidote, but y'all got some lisinopril, some Xanax, something? Okay, we need to chill out for a minute over here now. Okay, so I just said that. Dr. Veronica Foote said Patterson returned to Leongatha Hospital at 9:48 a.m. on Monday, July 31st. Dr. Foote said she reviewed Patterson around 10:30 a.m., and the mother of two reported she had eaten the same meal as Ian and Heather Wilkinson. Dr. Foote said Patterson reported suffering from nausea and diarrhea, but no vomiting. Her initial blood pressure was 30 on 90. That was a normal range, she said. Her pulse was 140. That was high. Her temperature was 35.6. That was normal. Dr. Foote said she performed an examination on Patterson's abdomen and noted it was soft and parts were tender. She explained tenderness was determined by touch and verbal or physical feedback from the patient, such as the patient displaying signs of pain, and softness confirmed the absence of firm surgical causes of stomach upset, such as appendicitis. Dr. Foote says she wasn't sure what led her to determine Patterson was experiencing tenderness, but it was likely a combination of touch and conversation. The prosecution asked Dr. Foote whether she observed Patterson making any toilet outputs during her time in the hospital. In response, Dr. Foote said no. Dr. Foote said around 12 p.m., she conducted another heart rate on Patterson before she left. Before she left the hospital. Hold on. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, that's it. Again, that's all I got. Hold on, where'd y'all go? Thanks, Anita Butts. I appreciate it. So, yeah, so reading this play out, y'all, like, the people who are now, granted, like, we're seeing like the whole picture all together, you know what I'm saying? But like these people at the hospital, they were like, what is it? Like, what is up? Like, you're leaving the hospital, you're gonna go home and do this? Like, absolutely not. And for her to do that, and then even once it gets into the kids, where it's like, oh, I don't want to bother the kids, I don't want to get them involved. This is my only question. Okay, this is like what literally is like, I don't get it. Like, why, right? And let me be sure, because I feel like, please hold. Please continue to hold. Your call is important to me. I'm just going to click this button. Please hold. Okay, 3 minutes ago. So it might be firing up like the next day, like the current day or whatever. I don't know. It says live. I don't get what this means, but there's no updates. So court could be like, what time is it in Australia? Please hold. Let me get y'all back on the screen. Let's see here. We're going to do some real fancy research here. Okay. What time? Is anybody in Australia? What time is it there? What time is it? Is it in? Oh. 10:10 a.m. So they might be, well, there's different times. So they might be firing up the day's court now, right? 1019. Okay. So down under, are they firing up today's court? And that's why I see that thing live, but they haven't put any updates on it yet. So this is what I don't get. And y'all, I mean, like, help me out here. Okay, if she was going to do this, so clearly she knew enough about death cap mushrooms to know that it was going to take a minute to hit, right? I don't understand what was going to be the point of it. And still, this is what I mean. Again, the prosecution said we will probably never know her real motive, right? But I don't understand. Was it to kill? Because at this point I feel like she wanted to kill them, but then then to feed them the poison and then immediately go into, I've got cancer of the elbow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like, I'm having a real hard time wrapping my brain around why, and what did she think was going to happen? Because in my mind, I'm thinking she had to have known, obviously, that, I mean, death cap, like, this is the thing, like, she knows this. So on that level, it's like, if you want to kill them, okay, but everybody's going to know that they went to your house. If you want to make them sick and take care of them, they're going to know that they went to your house. So I don't get it. This is the part that confuses me. And yeah, Cats, she wanted the ex there too, and he canceled last minute. And she really tried to make a big deal of guilting him into being there. So then if you go down the rabbit hole of she wanted to kill him, she knew how serious it was. She made all that. I mean, she could all the stuff, the whole 9 yards. She wanted to do it. So then the next thought is, don't you think people are going to be like, but maybe this is what it was. Maybe she was like, I'm going to blame it on, I got him at Woolworths. I got him at the random place. Somebody snuck some death caps in there, took everyone out. I just must have not gotten as sick. And then she'd just be sitting there like, my evil plan worked. I took out the evil family of my ex-husband. Maybe that's what it was. I mean, I don't think you could actually make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and the Northwest says about the whole line and hiding the dehydrator. I mean, that's like, she actively covered this up. And then even when you hear her talking about like how she was like, well, the kids can't be here, this, that, and the other, like, she lined this up, right? Like, this was like pre-thought or whatever. Okay. Yeah, maybe. And yeah, Donna, you could be right. Maybe she didn't think the doctors would figure it out. Maybe she thought she could get away with it. It's just like, I mean, again, in this scene, I'm just like, especially Death Cap, I'm just like, she had to know. Like, girl, they're going to figure that out, right? They're going to put two and two together. But maybe she thought they would just all go home and die. Because again, like, see, I'm looking at it too through the lens of like, well, didn't she think through that, like what they would see when they're in the hospital? And it's like, she might not have been thinking that it was going to get to that point. She might have been like, I made some potent stuff, right? Like, they ain't leaving the house. They're going to go home and die overnight. Like, maybe that's how she was thinking. Yeah, Katie Cat just says, Katie Cat says she probably thought they would all die at home and none of it would come back to the lunch. See, now that's where, because I have a hard time separating myself from like what all we know. And that's where it's like, I think you might be onto something, Katie Cat. Because it's like the fall on excuse could be, oh, I got him from wherever, right? But in her mind, she might be thinking, well, they're just gonna all go home and die overnight, and nobody will trace it back to me or whatever. Yeah, Northwest is the leftover still in our trash can. That's the whole thing, that it makes 0 sense. But I mean, how often, right? Like, do these things? But I feel like some of them you can see where they were going. You can start to like be like, okay, so they were gonna do this and then do this and then that led to that. I'm seeing the pattern. I'm seeing the story they were trying to tell. But this one, I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, and I think I don't think she was. Like, I don't think that there's so many holes in this story, okay, in this plot, right? Like glaring ones that she didn't think through. For somebody that seemingly has tried to do this several times, there's like a whole 5 chapters that she skipped over and did like, the cliff notes on. It was like, no, girl, you needed to have read those chapters, okay? Oh, Roro brings up a good point. Maybe she only planned to poison her ex-husband, but when he didn't show up, she took it out on the other people at the dinner party. Ooh, now that sounds like just the level of evil we might be dealing with. Just the level of evil. Imagine that if she's like, I'm going to give him this beef Wellington and he's going to get sick and I want the whole family to see. The last thing he's going to hear is my elbow cancer and blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, well, I'm not coming. And she's like, oh, yeah? Well, guess what? Mommy and daddy are getting your sermon. That literally could be it. And it's probably a little bit of a column A, B, C, and D from all these things we're talking about into one. Yes, Susie says so bitter. She definitely sounded bitter. The stuff that we've heard come out, like the conversations over money and stuff like that, this woman's loaning out $400,000 here, there, whatever, talking about, I want $40 in child support a month or 65, whatever it works out to. I mean, there's so much going on here. And imagine how dramatic, like when it came time, when she served the food and then she was like, I have cancer. She was so dramatic about it. Like, so that. And I think also too, to me, because like, remember, and this is why I want to revisit her interviews and stuff, doing the video on it, because now that we know that, like, at minimum, complete pathological liar, right? Totally. Okay. So if she's not found guilty of anything, we know she's a pathological liar, right? The way she was sitting there crying, like, I love them, and blah, 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 blah. Like, how like when you meet people, and I said when we watch these characters who have this extreme victim mentality, Sarah Boone, et cetera. I think 100% that's what Erin exhibits. And it's like their currency, right? It's how they learn to, oh gosh, it's how they learn to go through life. And so the way she immediately was pivoting herself is this, because I don't think whatever it was she was envisioning in her mind as the end result, I don't think it was having the media on her front porch with cameras in her face talking about, did you make the lunch? Did you make the lunch? Did you kill your family? I don't think that was part of her plan. I think that part backfired, and she went to the only thing that she knew. You know what I'm saying? Which was like, this was my, I'm the victim of this. I'm the this. I'm the that. Yeah, Wampa says she kept lying about stuff, not realizing people can like check. No, that's the thing. That's the thing that's so just like some of these things where it's like, what were they? But it's almost like this. And I always say this now, things are getting out of control. What was that thing we watched? It's like that really famous with that Canadian military dude, and the interviewer is really good in it. And he was like, things are getting really out of control here. What are we going to do? Things are getting really out of control. I think that was such an amazing interview technique, but I think you can use that with these people. So like with Erin, I'm like, I think things just got really out of control, Erin. I think they got really out. Russell Williams, thank you. You know how they were doing that like that? And it's like, things are getting out of control, Erin. What are we going to do? And that creates that sense of urgency of like, oh my gosh, I think that things just got out of control. I don't think she intended for it to like be this big of, I mean, who would, right? And she didn't really probably think it through. You know what I mean? Where it was like, oh, wait, she didn't think of all the possibilities. Like, there's no way in my mind that she thought for 1 second, what if they don't die and they just get really sick enough to go to the hospital? What will I say then? I don't think that was part of her process and decision making with this. Hold on. Yeah, Deb says, I heard the kids ate leftovers, but I had the mushrooms scraped off. That is allegedly what she said. Now, it's my understanding that she cooked 2 beef Wellingtons, and I'm sure, obviously, that she ate the non-poisonous one. She probably made them another one, and who knows how planned out she made it. Maybe she made the, how would you say it? The non-poisonous one, same way, mushrooms, all that, so that she could confidently say, I scraped them off, and even knowing the kids don't like it. You see what I'm saying? So, and I don't think we've heard from the kids, and I don't know how the court system works over there, if we will hear from the kids. I would love to hear from the children's mouth. Yeah, we ate the beef Wellington and Mom I watched her scrape the mushrooms off, because then that would tell me she made, well, see, I mean, I guess too, though, it goes 2 ways, because in my thought process where it's like, okay, if they didn't like mushrooms, because I think I read somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, that they didn't like mushrooms. So if Erin's like, I'm going to make 2 and one's not going to be poisonous, well, then why would you make it with mushrooms to begin with? You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know that they don't like it, and the whole point of it, it's like an alibi. So why do it that way unless you want to not be too obvious? So like, I'm just gonna make them both, and I'll just be like, well, I scraped them off. But then even her trying to say that, like, oh, I scraped them off or whatever, it's like, what? Yeah, my thought process, and y'all, and again, y'all help me out here. I 100% don't think that, like, I don't think that she served herself or the kids any level of poison. Now, I could be wrong. Obviously, I wasn't there. Individual. Well, now, and also help me out here, y'all, because in my mind, for whatever reason, and I've literally this whole time been thinking, is a beef Wellington come in the shape of like a meatloaf? So it's one big thing. That's how I envision it. And you cut it up into pieces. Or am I incorrect here? Like, that's what I envision this as. So I envision like 2 almost like cooking pans or whatever you call them, like, you know, the glass things with meatloaf shaped objects in them. One's poisonous, one's not. It's one large dish. Okay. Like a meatloaf. Okay. So she made small individual ones. Oh. Now I really want to know what her pantry looked like. And if you're just joining, like at the beginning, that she was like basically like 2 of the victims had talked about, or Ian was talking about how his wife and what sister or whatever wanted to look at Erin's pantry, and she was weird about it. But that could be normal. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like your pantry might be a disaster. And people are like, I don't want you to look at it. Remember, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong here too. The house they're at was the one that she built with the money that she got from either her grandmother or mother or both of them. So she probably was like, "Welcome to me home," and showing it off or whatever. And I could see the people, because I would be somebody who, if I was doing something, I'd be like, "Ooh, let me see. I'm getting ready to do my pantry." Like, I just would be kind of tacky like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would be, I don't know, but like, I wouldn't like the way they describe it in this is like they just like went to start grabbing up, almost like, I mean, I'm making this up, but like if I just went over, sure, I'll open my door, like, oh, let me see in here. Like, I would almost be like, oh, can I see it? And if the person said, oh, it's a mess right now, I'd be like, okay, cool, because that's mine is too. I want you to see mine, right? But now in my mind, I just personally think that she probably had the evidence in there and didn't want them seeing like stuff. Yeah, I wonder too. Somebody just said, or Sandy had mentioned the thing about the person she inherited the money died. I know. I know. Yeah, no, just that's how her mom and grandma died. I'd be curious too. Yep. Northwest says we all have a closet. Guests don't get to see. Amen. Right. You say, don't be opening that door. Don't be opening that door. We're all good over here. I'll tell you what the pantry. I'll draw you a picture. You don't need to be looking up in there. Right. Yeah, Down Under says she invited them to her house, never done that before. So that's weird. Yeah, 100%. And you could tell that even like some of the reactions that we read from people were kind of like, Erin invited you? What was that like? So, and then two, where she was like, the kids can't be here. Blah, 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 blah. She set that up. Okay. She set that up. And then two, Dominic says you can't buy death cap mushrooms. Pardon me. The way that they track, so if you've been following or whatever, then you'll remember this. They basically were like, oh, hey, there's some posts on that iNaturalist site talking about some sightings of death caps, and then her phone is pinged in those areas. So my opinion is she was on that thing. People were talking about death cap mushrooms. She went and foraged them. And probably had a little collection. And again, with some, okay, so again, I keep referring to this, but if you've watched Misery or read Misery, the Annie Wilkes, Stephen King Misery, Annie Wilkes, remember how like when he's in the house and he goes and he finds her scrapbook and he sees all the newspaper clippings of all the deaths at the hospital that she's been at, and he's like putting it together that it's like, oh my God, like she has killed all these people. I'm sorry, but I get those vibes off her. Like, I mean, I feel like at this point we would have already heard about this kind of stuff. But I literally feel like if you were to scratch, like, there's just that kind of, she's carrying some like dark stuff around like that. Oh yeah, Michelle says, I wonder if she rouletted it, like mixed them with regular. I said, well, it will be fate. I know. Can you imagine? She does look like Annie Wilkes. This is what I've literally always thought. Yeah, I love that movie. I mean, even though it's crazy, the book is like 10 times more morbid. Yes, Susie, I would wonder if there's a wake of dead people on our past too. 100%. Would not surprise me. Yeah, Wampa says she was dumb for trying to act like the Asian market just casually selling death cats. I know, right? My thought process is it's her excuse was going to be that basically like she got them from somewhere, almost like well, go ask them. I got it from here. And it's like, don't you think like that's the part where I'm like, did she not think about it? Like, but I guess not. Yeah, Dolores Claiborne was another really. I might have to put. Well, it's too late now, but I'm gonna watch one of those soon. Yeah, Misery. I read that book, and I couldn't. I could not put that book down. It is one of the best horror books I have ever read in my life. I mean, it gets you going. And for Stephen King, especially that era, I don't know what his recent stuff's like, but like Stephen King has a tendency to really drag stuff out or whatever, which can be good and bad, whatever. It just depends on what kind of vibe you like. That book, though, I was like, please, I could not put it down. Yeah, Emily says I did enjoy Misery. It's more suspense and horror. Yeah, I agree. It was like this weird, like it just kept you going. Yeah, the trial is still going on, and probably honestly, all is going to keep going on for a minute. They've got a lot of witnesses to get through, and it just seems literally everybody that gets up there paints it. This is the thing with the court systems, like in a lot of other places, especially there, where we don't really know a lot of this information until it comes out. So that's why I think the testimony that we're reading through and the stuff coming through, pardon me, is so like, oh my, like I've been waiting to hear what Ian Wilkinson said, because in my mind I was like, what if she served them the food and then started getting really morbid, but she got morbid, but it was like directed at herself, like I'm sick, this is what's going on or whatever, as opposed to her kind of coming after the family or being like, your son's horrible, or oh, or something like that, right? So I'm surprised that it was like, what do I do? I have the pinky cancer. It's really bad. I mean, yeah, The Shining was so good. Y'all, 2 of my friends on Facebook have been to the hotel recently. Out that we're in Colorado. 100% CrimeCon week. I'm like, I want to go. Point blank period. I could look it up. I could go stay. Can you imagine? That'd be so much fun. Emily, we're going to the Stanley. Oh, it's in Oregon. I would also love to go, some complete side note. So I was watching the Goonies the other night. I think I posted my Instagram story. I would love to go to the Goonie house or whatever, I'm talking about, like the house that they were there. Another one of my friends, she posted pictures when she went or something, I don't know, at some point. I was like, you can go to where the Goonies lived. Oh, oh, thanks. Oh. Yeah, I haven't read The Stand and I haven't seen The Stand, but I would love to even try and watch it just to be able to, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you're talking about the Goonies, I think there actually is a sequel coming, and it kind of breaks my heart to think. I mean, there's no the Goonies, y'all. I've seen thousands of times, probably thousands of times. That is a childhood nostalgic hardcore favorite. Oh, Zach Bangan's Honda Museum in Vegas. That sounds so cool. Oh, I would love to go to the Amity house. I love all the lore and stuff around the Amityville house. Like even about the dude who killed the family in there and whatnot. Okay, Copwife says, where is it? I read that she made individual size loaves. Okay. That's kind of what it sounds like. Yeah, Astoria. One of my friends, he lives, I don't know the name of the island, but it's like off Seattle, and he like boats in to go to work or whatever. And he was like, Astoria, because like he was posting pictures, and I'm like, where do you like, this is like an old high school friend. And I was like, where do you live now? This is like amazing. And he's like explaining the situation, whatever. He's like, look, he's like, if I could do whatever, like his work situation was one such that he's at where he's at. But he was like, Astoria, he was like, it's like, that's where I would go. But I've never been to that. I've been to like Northern California, and that's a oh, yeah, Needful Things. I don't know why I'm wearing this. Well, I'll do it for the song. That's why I'm like, why am I? We're not doing anything to listen to. My dentist was in Astoria. Oh my god. Do the truffle shuffle. So my synopsis so far. So let's kind of like wind it down a little bit because I'm getting ready to like go to bed. My synopsis is I think she's gonna be found guilty, just from what I've seen so far. But I mean, you know, who knows, right? It's still very fresh in the trial. Baby Ruth, baby Ruth. Oh, that's from Goonies. So I think she's gonna be found guilty. I just don't see how one won it. Her behavior is so sus. Like, you know, the whole thing, the evidence about, you know, the what do you call it? Just the hospital, you know, what Ian's saying, all of it. The lying, the trashing the phones, the hydrator, the thing. I don't see it. You know, I don't see her not guilty. Oh, thank you, Elaine, for gifting 10 memberships. Yeah, Amy says, I'd love to see her take the stand. Imagine if she did. Imagine if she did. Oh, there you go. Whoop, sorry. Like throwing stuff everywhere. Whoops, sorry. What? I just said so. Oh, okay, please don't. Getting out of control. Okay, sorry. I accidentally was pushing a bunch of buttons. Okay. Hey Brenda. I know I've got this thing. I need to take this off because I really never use it anymore. This would help make it not so cumbersome. You know, let's do a little test here. Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna do a little test here real quick. So how does this microphone sound like this? How does this microphone sound like this? Do you notice a difference? Do you notice a difference? Pop, 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 pop. Do y'all notice any difference? What what is this supposed to do? Hey John, how's it going? Yeah, I think we're gonna ditch this because it's like, I mean, it looks cool, right? It's like, oh, that's fancy. He's got that little thing, right? But I don't, I don't know what it does. It's a fly swatter. Whoopsh, whoopsh, whoopsh. Wait on it. It takes the sharp edges off of peas. Okay, I'm gonna do a test. Paul purchased pop from the store. Paul purchased pop from the store. Does that sound any different? Oh, you do hear the difference in the peas? Paul purchased pop at the store.
Paul purchased pop at the store. Interesting. Okay. So maybe we'll use it. I mean, is it that big of a difference? I thought it was a spit guard too, and it might be. It did filter the pee. So, here's my thing too. Like pretend it was like a serious issue. That I would then subconsciously, every other word I would use is a P, starts with a P, right? Like literally every other word. But if it wasn't a thing, I would never use another word except for my name. Paul purchased pancakes. Paul purchased pancakes. Paul purchased pancakes. And so Sandy, thank you for asking. So Luke went to group training yesterday. His went well. And it was basically like a group training situation where there's like 3 other dogs or 2 other dogs and mine. And the whole goal was everyone sits there quiet, not interacting, and you're just getting your dog to pay attention to you. And he did well with it. There were some distractions that came up and whatnot, like other people's dogs coming up and doing stuff and all that. And he did well with it. So it's gonna be a few weeks before they can go back to any kind of group training because the next one's next week, but it's the day that they get the old snip. So yeah, they'll be missing that. So yeah. Paul passed the portal. Paul pets hold on. Paul pets puppies at Publix in the portal. Paul pets puppies at Publix in the portal. Paul pets puppies at Publix in the portal. I mean, I just want an excuse to not use the thing, to be honest. Because it is weird to use because it's almost like this, like, well, where do you put it? Oh, but then it was like this. That was. We'll do this later. We're almost done anyways. Yeah, while eating popsicles. I'm getting all the P words out, right? Can you imagine if I learned to perfectly speak without using the P, like super fast? So I could be like, all instead of Paul. Get this thing going now. Bushy. Oops. Paul purchased puppies at the portal. Paul purchased puppies at the portal. But it seems so weird. It's like it wants to fight me or something. Like when I sit like this, I'm like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? What's going on? But also, I might very soon, in June, have like a normal like setback, if you will. So I have more of like the regular sofa and whatnot. Because this is like literally hooked up to a mobile, like one of those mobile, laptop things you do. So okay, so yeah, I'm gonna get ready to go to bed, and I actually got to do some food prep first, but I'm gonna go to bed. So I would like to say that tomorrow night we'll do Melanie Gibb, but most likely what will happen is I'll probably like glance at some of the testimony and be like, oh my God, we have to go over this. So we'll say. So tomorrow night we're either gonna, we'll do this. We'll do Melanie Gibb tomorrow to finish that out and to keep on our little, revisiting the evil thing. Friday, or we'll see how it all pans out, but like maybe Friday, because that's right, I won't be, well, anyways, give a couple of days of testimony so there's enough to go over, is what I'm getting at with this. So that's it. So thank y'all very much. Thank you, mods, for being here. I greatly appreciate y'all. Thank you, Sofa Squad, for being here. I greatly appreciate y'all. And we'll just kind of keep following this and see where it goes, right? We're going to end with Slow Morrison's little happy-go-lucky Sofa Squad anthem. So that is it. I hope y'all have a wonderful Thursday, a wonderful rest of your evening. I love y'all, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Bert's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.